everybody, it's me, Danny, and today I'm back with a new video. So today is day 5 of BookTubeAthon, and that means a new video challenge. And today's video challenge was issued by Marissa from the channel Little Spider 9, I believe is the channel name. But anyways, today's challenge is called Class Reading List. And essentially, you have to, imagine that you're teaching a class, any sort of class that you want, and you have to come up with a little reading list for that class. And the challenge is, instead of just picking any random books on your shelf, you have to use at least one book from your BookTubeAthon TBR in that class reading list. And this was a little difficult for me because I had a lot of ideas, but I didn't have that many books that related to that, or one idea that I had that I have a lot of books that relate to that. I didn't have any of those specific books in my TBR, and this challenge made me realize that I need to expand my reading horizons, because 99% of my shelf is YA fantasy or dystopian or nonfiction. Or not nonfiction, fiction. It's really it's all very one type, but reading this is I might need to expand my parameters a little more, because I have a lot of fantasy, I have some dystopian, and that's basically it. But anyways, after much thinking and much pondering about it, I managed to come up with a class and the class reading list. So, the class that I'm teaching is a storytelling class, but not just your typical storytelling class. This is a storytelling class that explains how you can create your own unique story using pieces, based off of something that already pre-exists in a way. Essentially, how do you make a retelling of sorts? And as you know, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know how much I love retellings. And so I have a lot on my shelf, but I've just got some to showcase the different things that you can tell them, whether it's a fairy tale or it's a myth or whatever. But we're gonna hop right in. The first book is actually from my BookTubeAthon TBR, and that is Lost in the Labyrinth by Patrice Kindle. And this is a retelling of the Minotaur, Theseus and the Minotaur, that Greek myth. And so I would tell my class to read this because it uses old material that a lot of people know, because a lot of people know about the Greek myths and stuff. They know about the Minotaur, and because the Minotaur is one of the more well-known myths of ancient Greece. And so I would use this as how you can create a story from something really old that a lot of people know, and how to make it different but still remain the same, because the myth still remains pretty much the same. It's just told a different way, essentially. The next book I have is another myth retelling, but not a certain myth, just using different pieces of Roman mythology this time and creating an epic story out of it. And that is Pegasus and the Flame by Kate O'Hearn. This is the first book in the Pegasus series by Kate O'Hearn. And as I said, this one weaves together different pieces of the Roman mythology to create a story. And so I would show them this one to say, you don't need to focus on just one individual thing. You can bring together pieces from a couple different stories to create one big story out of it. And so that's what I would use this one to teach them. The next book is moving on to the fairy tale retellings. And so the things based on the myths, they're kind of more concrete. People used to believe in those, like it was like a religious thing that they believed in. And fairy tales were just created the time to bring, like, bedtime stories, bring joy and cheer, except they were kind of scary. But this one is a fairy tale retelling, and so it is Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. And I would tell them this one because it doesn't have to stay light and cheery. If it's based off of a fairy tale, it doesn't have to be all light and cheery, all sunshine and rainbows, because this is a dark retelling of like a bright and happy fairy tale, The Wizard of Oz. And so you can completely flip a story on its head and still have it like be easily recognizable as the story that it is. And the final book I have for the class reading list is a book that kind of follows very like quite closely the beginning to the story that it is telling, and then branches off in a completely different direction. And this book is A Whole New World by Liz Broswell, and this is a retelling of the Aladdin story. Like, it's based off of the Disney movie Aladdin. You can really tell because like the first 100 pages is like basically exactly the movie, with Aladdin running away from the thing. It follows the path of the movie, basically straight to the Cave of Wonders, where the story goes completely awry from that. It goes really dark, and yeah, but I would use this one to show them that, hey, you can still follow along kind of closely with the story that exists, and then completely change it at the end, and then just bring it back a little bit closer at the very end, because it brings it closer to like the actual Disney movie at the end. But yeah, it's not exactly the same, because it can't be exactly the same if you change it, and you can follow a story and then completely change direction and it still works. But anyways, that is the video challenge for today, and to update you on my actual reading progress, so far I have finished 6 books, which is amazing because this is day 5, and I actually planned it this way that I would be a little bit ahead for my last book, because it's big. But the book I finished today is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, and this was a reread for me, and it's so much better reading it like basically in like one entire sitting, because I read the majority of this in one sitting, and it's so much better because the first time I read it, I was in the middle. I got to the middle of it, then I had a big slump, and I just left it, and it took me about a month to finish it. But I started this last night, finished it so much better, just with the quick pace of it, and I enjoyed it so much. And I may start Our Dark Duet tonight, or I might just wait it for tomorrow. I planned it to be a little bit ahead because Our Dark Duet is such a big book. It's 500 pages, and I want to make sure that I can finish it. But yeah, anyways, that is my video for day 5 of BookTubeAthon. If you like this video, make sure you give this a thumbs up, and let me know, would you take my class? Let me know in the comments down below if you would sign up to take my class, if you want to be taught by me. I don't know how well that would work, but anyways. And if you want to see more videos by me, make sure you subscribe, and you can see more videos with my face, and you can see all the other previous BookTubeAthon videos that I have done, and any other extra videos that I've done. And I will see you all in my next video. Now go home and read a book. Bye!